And welcome to episode 8 of 84 Feet with Cady and Cap. I'm Brian Cady, joined as always by the co-captain of this ship, Albany Academy Girls Varsity Basketball Coach Brian Capitula. Brian, what's up, man?
Good afternoon. Nice weather out today. 83 degrees on May 14th is always nice. So
A beautiful day for you to go take in a soccer game later on after we record this.
It'll be good. Get a suntan. Use that whatever that is, the trifold with the aluminum foil in it to get a better tan. So
yeah, sure. I totally see you doing that.
FPF zero. Throw some zero on and lotion up.
Pull out the 3-part beach chair. Unfold that. Yeah, I could definitely see you doing that. No. Anyways, we do have some stuff to get into. Obviously, Elevate just came out of GymRat live last weekend, so we'll dive into that in a little bit. But first things first, we got our guests on the show. They are last but certainly not least the Section 2 basketball champions that we have covered. They were Class D champions, and they were also New York State finalists as they got all the way to the state championship game. Representing the Falcons of Northville, a pair of juniors from the squad. We have Hailey, Monroe, and Lily Klippel. Ladies, hello. How are you today?
Hi, good. How are you?
Hi.
Doing well. First things first. So, getting a little bit of background out of Hailey, came to find out. So the two of you play the same fall and winter sports, but have differing inspirations behind the two sports. Whereas Hailey is more basketball focused, but also happens to be getting pretty good at soccer. And Lily, you're just the opposite. You're really good at soccer, and basketball has just kind of become second fiddle to you in a way. And Lily, we'll start with you. How did you end up finding your way into basketball in the way you have since you've been playing soccer so much?
I always played basketball, but I was on JV. I got brought up a couple times to play with the varsity girls, but nothing really major. It didn't really interest me. I wasn't really that good, and no one really made me good until this year. When our coach Jimmy, he made me actually really like it, and he made me good. So I was like, oh, maybe I'm good at this. Maybe I'll play. So.
Yeah, and then Hailey, like I mentioned, you're basketball centric. You're playing AAU right now for Havoc, but you also claim to be this pretty decent soccer player as well. So was it the same thing where you've always played soccer as well, and it just came along for the ride with you, or is this something you just picked up in the last few years?
So I really don't like soccer, but I've just picked it up last few years. My freshman year, sophomore year, I played goalie, but I didn't do much. Sophomore year, halfway through, I stopped, and then I made it on the field. And this past season, I got pretty good.
What position do you play in soccer?
Lily, I don't even know.
You don't even know. Okay.
She plays she started at stopper a little bit, and then she plays a center mid, a defensive center mid.
Okay. And where do you play?
I play a little bit everywhere. Last year I played a lot of center mid and striker, but I also fall back into stopper and sweeper when needed.
Oh, jeez. So everything. Yeah. Good. Awesome. So you guys obviously are from a smaller town. I grew up in a little bit of a smaller town. So what's it like in terms of athletics at your school? Do you have is it the same group of kids that you always see? Like you guys said, Hailey, you tried soccer. Do they encourage that stuff to have other kids try it, or do you just have kids that will play one sport and that's that's all they usually do at your school?
I feel like everybody kind of plays everything for the most part. We're really a soccer school. That's the thing, so everybody plays soccer. Basketball's just been getting big because we've been getting good at it.
Sure. That makes sense.
So it's actually something I want to jump into quick involving both of you, but in different ways. Because again, Lily, soccer focused mostly. Hailey, you're basketball focused. As you look forward in time, I know you still have another whole year and a month left of high school, but as you're looking forward to, advancing your education, going to college, whatever it may be, has there been any interest picking up in any sport as far as colleges, college coaches talking to you, any recruiters talking to you? Lily, we'll start with you. Anybody looking at you for soccer at the next level?
No, not really. I don't really like get put out there because it's such a small school, so no one really notices me, and I don't like play any club teams or anything. So, no.
And then Hailey, obviously, you're doing AAU, so that helps a little bit. Any conversations yet with any recruiters or college coaches at all?
Yeah, I've been working on that. Obviously, that's like why I told you I made the switch to Havoc to get a bigger platform and stuff. But right now I have like a lot of like local D3 schools, RPI, Cobleskill. Oh geez, I can't think of any of the names, but stuff like that.
That's great. In terms of like coach, obviously, coach was a coach for a long time at a different school on the boys' side, and then comes over to the girls' side and has like pretty much immediate success. I know his son won a state championship too in Connecticut this year. So, what is it like having a coach that has been through like everything? Is there anything that you guys learn that obviously there's an age gap, right? Like there's much difference with you guys. Is there anything that he brings that has that's so much different than what you guys are used to? Like in terms of either coaching or like things that maybe you guys didn't see basketball wise before that he brought in?
Yeah. I mean, just like his filter, which is none at all. He says whatever he wants. So, and I mean, he thinks there's a lot of practices where we're laughing because what he's saying is just so out of pocket. But he's like so dead serious and stuff. And then because he's been so successful, he tells you something and you're like, I don't want to do that. And then you know it's right, so you have to. And it's almost like annoying, but it's like so nice having a coach that knows just like everything.
Right.
So to follow up on that, because I had the pleasure of announcing not just your sectional semis and finals and your states run, but also your WAC championship game that you played at Fulton Montgomery Community College. And one of the most immediate things you pick up about Coach is that it's got to be kind of difficult to hear him sometimes because he's not exactly the most over-the-top voice in the world. So, Lily, your thoughts, like, does that make it difficult at all sometimes? Like, do you look more to an assistant on occasion when you're like, Coach, like, we can't hear you. What's going on? Like,
a lot of the times we don't hear him at all, and I think we just rely on Hailey to call because she can see it. And he's like, no, I didn't want you to do that. I want you to do this. But it's like, we can't hear you, Coach. And I mean, our assistant, he's not really that loud either. He's probably scared of Jimmy to say anything. But yeah, sometimes I think we just do what we want to do and know what we should do when we can't hear him. But yeah, that definitely is a challenge. But
and how's your structure like with you guys? I know that I had a coach similar to that in high school. Like you guys really structured for practices and things like that, or is it more like is he? I guess it's not a strict thing, but is it like he knows what he wants done, and if it doesn't get done, like are you guys running? Are you sprinting around like running, or doing like up downs, or like what's the punishment for that kind of stuff?
It is definitely like very like structured, but I would say surprisingly for somebody who's like so strict, there wasn't really like punishment running or anything like that. I honestly think it was because we had so low numbers though. He couldn't run us because we were already tired.
Right. And how many kids total did you have on your team, like for your varsity team?
Well, we started the season with 6. And then we had 2 people. We had one person pulled up in the middle of the season, and then another pulled up for sectionals.
Okay. So 8 was your total roster, like going into Hudson Valley.
Yep.
So, was Izzy Cologne the girl that got called up mid-season?
Yeah.
Since we're on the topic, I'll focus in on her because Izzy, to me, like, there were some games where she made a really nice impact and was able to help maybe if there was a little bit of a lull at times for the team as he was able to come off the bench and really produce. And even I think there was even a game or two during that run where I think she even started for any multitude of reasons. What'd you think of Izzy when she was able to come up? And either one of you can chime in on this. When she came up and the production she was able to provide.
Izzy definitely helped me because I got into some foul trouble, and it was nice to know that and I can rely on her. At first, I think she was a little timid and she was very like scared to mess up, but I think she used that as motivation to she knows she has to do good. She has shoes to fill, and she definitely did. So it was nice to be able to rely on that so I could get a break and not foul out.
Yeah, and to go off of what Lily said, that's actually they're related, Izzy and Coach Zulo. So he's extra harsh on her. He tries to say he isn't, but he is. Everybody sees the bias. So, I mean, the whole team tries to build up Izzy because she gets really hard on herself because he's hard on her. But Izzy is, for a freshman, she does so good and she doesn't even see it. It's so nice having her on the team. And she's such a good six man too.
Sometimes the young kids don't even know better, right? They're just playing and they're like, oh, I'm not supposed to do this, and they do it. But obviously, you guys, what is I haven't been to your guys' gym and things. What is it like for home games for you guys? Do you get support like that for home games? Is it like a crazy environment, or is it like a quiet gym?
I'd say we have a lot of fans for a small school. Definitely towards the end. I mean, Jimmy had a whole fan section for himself. He had all his friends behind our bench. Every time it was someone new, he was like, "Oh, Lily, this is so and so." I'm like, "Oh, hi." But yeah, I mean, we don't have a lot of people in our town, so just to see that amount, and then definitely in the sectional games, that was our whole town was there, so we definitely had a lot of support.
Yeah, I was gonna say a big thing last year too was that the boys' games would be packed, and then there would be 20 kids at the girls' game. And this year it was the exact opposite, and it got to the point to where people were like, "Gosh, it's getting boring seeing the girls win all the time." I was like, "Are you kidding me right now?" But it was nice seeing packed stands for every home game.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, I gotta hone in on a little bit of story time with Hailey Monroe for a second here because Hailey and I had a conversation last night to kind of help me prep for the show, and I'm not sure a whole lot of people really know your general journey. You're actually originally from Maryland and didn't move up here until basically the end of junior high, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, what was what kind of family decision was that? What made the move happen where you guys wound up leaving Maryland and coming up to, no offense, but of all places, Northville, New York?
Yeah, so we lived just outside of Baltimore City. So with the reason being was my dad had a job offer, but then also Corona was hitting. So being in the middle of the city with the virus going around. So my dad was like, well, I just got a job up here and I know people up here. It's small area. Won't be as sick, I guess. So.
And then because of that, you ultimately have just a whole almost like a resume at this point of different AAU programs that you've rotated through because you played for an Under Armour based team down there, and then you played for I think it was MVM. I think you mentioned
MVW, yeah.
MVW, and then you most recently were with Athenas before joining Havoc this year.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just focus in on Athenas real quick. What did you get out of the 2 years that you had with Athenas before transitioning over to Havoc this year?
I think Athena's really built me into the next step of a player. I've been playing since I was a kid, so I just play basketball. But then Athena's gave me that college aspect when I actually started leaving the state for tournaments and stuff, and it was oh, I need to take this more seriously. It's bigger than just playing basketball. I need to be talking while I'm playing. I need to be building up teammates. There's so much more to the game than just playing. That's really eye-opening to me.
And Lily, you being like a soccer player, so I don't know. Have you guys had like sectional runs? Have you guys had like sectional titles the last few years, or?
For soccer, we did.
Yeah.
We went to regionals, I think 2 years ago. So that was really cool. And I wasn't on the team, but we did go to states a couple years ago. But yeah, and then we did go to sectionals last year. We went to the sectional finals, but we lost in overtime. So
what was the Hudson Valley for? Like, obviously, you play basketball because it seems sounds like you got better at it, and so you stayed with it. But and Hailey, you can answer after. But what was it like? Like the first time you guys, obviously, your first game in Hudson Valley, was it the finals, like the Class D finals, or did you guys have a semifinal game there?
It was the final.
Finals. Yeah. So you guys had your game there. What is that environment like? Is that intimidating to you? Were you like intimidated by that, or was it just kind of a bigger gym and you're like, oh, this is going to be cool?
No, I was terrified. I'm not going to lie. Just like the huge bleachers, that just scared me already. I was like, oh my God, like it's so different from then like our gym. And I was nervous because I've never been in that kind of game before, like that intense. So I was definitely terrified. It was not just another game.
For me, it was just because I've played in big gyms like that before, and I played in there for like GymRat tournaments and stuff. So like I've known like the crowd was what got me the most. Like the crowd was almost like a little bit intimidating. Like I was getting chanted at some of the games, so it was crazy. But like the fact that the gym was big wasn't the fact. It was like that there were so many people there.
There we go. My computer was going haywire for a second. All right. So, mentioned before how you had gotten to the Western Athletic Conference Championship game, and obviously the team that's been the talk the last few years in that conference has been Dwaynesburg. You guys are playing them twice, once the regular season and once in that championship game. What did those two games, particularly the conference championship game right at the end of this season, what did those two games help both of you learn about your team going forward as you went into sectional playoffs and beyond? And learn about yourselves, honestly?
I know.
Oh, sorry. You can go.
Okay. I know me personally, that game I got pretty like hot-headed just because like they were a good team and we kept with them for the whole first quarter. So I was like, oh, this might be like a winnable game. They have two D1 girls on their team, so it's like it's understandable losing, but it was just the momentum of the first quarter. I was like, oh, we got it, and then it just like slowly dipped, and I was losing my head. So that like really taught me that I need to like stay focused, can't get mad at certain things, like stuff like that.
That's what I was going to say. I was kind of say like we did hold them. Like I think we held them to like one of their like smallest like leads, I think, for the season. So it really showed us that like, wow, like we can do it like in our class. And I mean, they're a B school or C. So it showed us that like we're good, like we can go on. So I think that's what I took from it.
You guys held them to 44 points, which was the lowest of their whole season. So like defensively. So that's a really good job, especially with the kids that they have that are able to score. And it wasn't right away either. The first game of the year that you guys played, I'm just going through it. You guys played them pretty late in the year. So good job to you guys, but because they're never fun to play no matter who's on your team. So I'm sure it wasn't fun for you guys either. Like looking forward to next year, but the rest of this year, how do you guys think you'll be next year, like progressing into the season?
We're hoping. I really hope that we can make another states run. I think we have our entire team except for one player, and then we're getting back a player that was injured. So it's like, I think we'll be a really good team, especially for Class D. So it's really exciting waiting for the season to start even.
Yeah, and we're working we're already like starting to work all together and like get in the gym together so we can build that connection. And we'll have some of the girls, like the one girl that came up for sectional, she'll be on varsity. So we'll just all continue to get better. So it'll be exciting.
Do you think more kids in the school will now be like, maybe basketball is an option, or is it like, do you think you'll get like the same kids, or like some of the soccer kids now be like, hey, maybe I want to play basketball this year?
So our school is so small that like there's not like soccer kids or basketball kids really. It's like if you play sports, then you play sports. If you don't, you don't. So,
Got it.
but I know like one thing, like just from like my perspective, is that like it's really cool seeing all the younger kids getting into it now. Like the middle school team that I work with my mom with is all just straight from our school, and like they want to come play and work. So it's like really fun having that.
Right. What is your class like? So you're a junior. What's your class size? Do you know, like,
We kind of have a big class. I think we have like 40 something kids for. So that's a big class for us.
Yeah, this graduating class is like 23. So
Yeah.
Big.
I will verify this because I am on a National Center for Educational Statistics website. It says pre-K through 12, Northville School District has 447 total students, averaging just over 9 students per teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, my math class has 2 students in it.
That's absurd. Like I thought my class sizes were small going to CBA because they're a private school and they only have my graduating class had like something in the low 90s. That's small. And you're like at the northern tip of Sacandaga Lake, so it's like okay, so we gotta go like a half hour or so that way to BP. Then Gloversville's 45 minutes. That's a considering where you guys are. You might have one of the stupidest travel schedules for regular season.
Yeah, going to Middleburg.
Oh my God. Or VKW, like those games.
We went to BKW like 3 times last year.
That's where you hope it snows one of the days, like a snow day. Maybe we don't have to play them today.
You get really familiar with what school buses feel like. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else to say to that.
The worst. Every bus is the worst.
Yeah, especially if you're going up to where was this? We were
Potsdam. Going to Potsdam.
Potsdam. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Now you guys went through regionals and stuff. Where did you guys play your regional games?
Oof. Regional, was that
Like,
section?
yeah,
7?
that was section 7. Yeah. Did you guys play in Potsdam, or were you guys like in Saranac Lake? I think that was one of the other spots.
I got this. In case you don't remember, I got this.
I don't know.
I'm working on it. I'm on the screen. I'm just trying to get down the Class D bracket. Hang on. Northville went through Bulkett Valley to get because they didn't have a sub-regional. They went right to regional final.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they played at Clinton Community College.
Oh, nice. Yeah, how do you like that gym with the like? It's such a weird feeling gym, right? Like it's not a pretty gym to look at.
Yeah, especially coming like off of sectionals, it was like, oh, this is like weird to play in.
Right, the one side bleacher, and then there's like an overhang that you're sitting under.
Yeah,
weird environment.
So I have a very game-specific question I have to ask. Because, like I mentioned, I think I announced all but 4 games during the weekend of states. I think Hailey might know what I'm getting at. That state semifinal game. The first 3 quarters were a lot different than the fourth quarter. I'll put it that way. How should I put this? When the team was struggling the way it was, and Hailey, you were clearly showing frustration. I know, especially towards like the end of the first half, you were really frustrated. Was it more a case of? Was it just you being that hard on yourself because you expected more of yourself, or was it because of the fact that, like, was it more about you, the team? Like, what was it, the atmosphere? What was it that led to the frustrations that you were showing early on in that game?
Yeah, so it was definitely just like frustrated myself, like, and that's still something I'm struggling with now. I'm working with that in AAU, but I hold myself to like a high standard. So then when I don't make it, I get down on myself and like I gotta figure that. I can't do that in the middle of a game, freaking out. But it was like I was proud of my team because they're doing good, and then it almost felt like I'm letting them down because I wasn't doing what I had been doing the entire season. So it was like I was getting in my own head about it.
You're muted, Cap.
There we go. Anything outside of sports that you guys, obviously sports, if you're a sport kid, you say that that's what it is, but any kind of other things you guys do, like are you guys in drama club or anyone in chorus or play an instrument of any sort like that? Like any talents like that?
No.
No, other than just singing in a car.
So just to come back to that semifinal game for a second. So then the fourth quarter comes out because it to me, this is what differentiates, the good from the great. It's the ability to flip a switch and like it's go time. And I felt like I want to say you made a basket with like 2 minutes left in the third quarter, maybe a minute left in the third quarter, and then from there was like, okay, the ball is going in the hoop. And then fourth quarter, it seemed like you really couldn't do much wrong because your defense was back on point. You're able to get to the basket without getting smacked all over the place and make some baskets. It seemed like you found your flow in that fourth quarter, and that really helped with the team getting over the top. How important to you in that moment was it for you to figure that out and be able to help the team get that win and get to the title game?
Yeah, that was like really important for me. And then like bringing it back to Izzy, like me and Izzy, I don't know, I talk to her all the time. So we had a timeout. I think it was at the end of the third quarter, and she just came over to me and she's like telling me like, you need to stop freaking out, like get out of your head, you're doing good. And like that's when I was like what am I worrying about? Like I just need to play. So that's when I was like I just kind of came back into it. And also it being later in the game, I didn't have to worry about fouls anymore, so I just started playing normally, like I wasn't worried about anything anymore. And that like it really helped, and it felt really nice being able to come back and not like feel so down on myself and like as if I was letting the team down.
At what point in the season do you guys know that you're probably pretty good? Like, is it halfway through? Like, because you have an early season loss to like Bishop Gibbons, right? So that's like an early in the season, like right before Christmas loss. And then you kind of go on like a crazy run, like 60-24, 60-17, 52-25. Like, I don't think anyone comes in with really 30 points of you until Mayfield, they 25. But like at what point do you guys know, hey, we're probably going to be pretty good this year?
I think it was definitely the Mayfield tournament, the Christmas Mayfield tournament that kind of clicked. We were struggling a little bit to like connect with each other, I think, because it was like kind of a new team. Like we've all played together before, but not like on a varsity team. So I think when we got to the Mayfield tournament and like we won that, I think it kind of boosted our confidence. And then we continued to take it, and we were like, oh, maybe we can actually do good.
Yeah, I think I agree as well. Like that Mayfield game was like a big game, and then we won, and everybody realized. And Northville Mayfield games in general are so like the atmosphere is so cool to play in. So winning that with like the crazy crowd, and then like that was the first time we had beat them in like 9 years. So having that was like our first like big accomplishment, and then we just kept going with it. So it was like we were like, oh, we're pretty good.
And then Bishop Gibbons beat you once, and then you guys beat them twice, like the rest of the year. And like, how's that? I guess they obviously last year were champions and everything, and they made it all the way through. But where like you guys beat them by 20, like to win the section, right? That's who you guys played in the sectional final. At halftime of that game, are you guys like? And Lily, you could like you have obviously less basketball experience, but like, are you thinking about like being a sectional champion at that point, or are you just like, hey, this is another game, and who cares what the outcome is? If we win, we win. If we lose, we lose.
We were all like super like, I think excited that I think we went into it winning, right? The halftime, because we kept them like really close. Yeah. So I think everyone was kind of thinking like, oh my God, like we can do this. during halftime. And Jimmy, I don't think really let us like think like that. He was just like he acted like it was just a normal game. Like he definitely still yelled at us. I'll know that. So I think we were all thinking in the back of our head, like, oh my God, we're gonna win. But we knew that we just had to treat it like a normal game if we really did want to win.
Sure.
Yeah, to go on with that, like we first go he's always like strolling along talking to people on his way out. So we're all in the locker room before that and we're getting hyped and then he comes in, he's like, okay, calm down, like we gotta lock in. But yeah, and then he's so funny too. He comes up to me and he whispers and he goes, I think we have a chance. And I'm like, Coach, we're up by like 20 at half. I think we have a chance too.
That's awesome.
Oh, Coach Zullo. Oh God. All right. All right. I have a couple more questions, and then I'll let you off into the free world. First off, just because I've gotten to know him pretty decently the last 6 months, do you guys have any kind of relationship with Adam Cole? I think he coaches baseball. I think. I mean, he quite the individual and definitely a full-fledged supporter of Northville athletics. So, what are your thoughts and your experiences with Coach Cole?
I mean, he's my brother. He was my brother's basketball coach, and right now he's my brother's baseball coach. And my brother always talks about how he really likes him. He really wants them to be good. And so and he even is taking my brother on his summer baseball team because he knows he wants these athletes to succeed and he knows what they have to do to succeed. So I think that he'll be good for the boys. So, and he's pretty nice to us. He is always super supportive of us. So
yeah, also he's my study hall teacher. So we talk a lot about basketball and stuff and he's always congratulating me on achievements and stuff like that. So he's like a really big supporter and just a really nice guy, I think.
I just know I felt bad for him during sectionals and states because, for those of you who don't know, Senior Cole, he's basically an administrator with Section 2 boys basketball. So he's helping run the ship there. Meanwhile, my girls' team happens to be making a run to the state finals. What the hell? And he's stuck in Glens Falls. But anyways, last thing I've got is, and Cap kind of mentioned this earlier. You look ahead at next season. You mentioned you're only losing one player, and you've got somebody coming back from injury. Specifically, though, when you look at this summer, I mean, obviously, Hailey, you have AAU going on. That will go through what? End of June, early July, maybe?
Yeah.
So how much time are you going to allow yourselves to really, have you allowed yourself the time to really unpack what you girls achieved for the school before you get yourselves ready for soccer season come late August, early September? Or is this still very fresh in your minds as to you haven't been able to really digest everything yet?
I don't know. I think it's kind of both. Sometimes I don't even think about it anymore. And then other times I'm like, wow, we had a crazy run this year. Especially Coach, he doesn't let anybody forget it. Every time he sees us and he's like, one thing he's really big on is, where's our banner? Because you get a banner in the gym and he's been on it. So it's really cool. I don't know. Sometimes you think about it and you're like, wow, I went to states. And other times you're like, yeah, that was a couple months ago though. So
Yeah, it sounds like something. What is it? Karbowski, I think, is the athletic director. That's something he'll have to. That's something between those two. Don't get in the middle of that. Don't allow yourself to do it. Cap, any last words before we let these ladies go?
No, congratulations on a really good season, and he asked a good question right there too. If you unpack it, I still don't think I've unpacked the year. As things go, and Hailey, with AAU stuff starting, it starts right away. Your season ended and you're right into it. So definitely when you get a break at some point, which will be in August, a little bit of a break before you gotta get going. Make sure that you enjoy what you guys went through and recognize how big of an accomplishment it really was. Because ultimately, winning or losing, that final game, it doesn't really matter at that point. You get that far and you have everyone's support behind you. So I think I'll at some point, I think too, like decompress and maybe realize how good of a season I had too, and we had together. But you guys make sure that at some point you like realize, like, man, we did something that, like, you guys were one of 10 schools left, like 12 schools left total in the whole state that were still playing at that point. When you look at it like that way, like you have to like enjoy it at some point. So make sure you do that at some point before everything gets going again.
Yeah.
All right. Well, state finalists, Section 2 champions of Class D, and they're definitely going to be reloaded and ready to go come November when the new season starts up. Hailey, Monroe, and Lily Klippel from Northville. Ladies, thank you very much. Try to enjoy your summers. I know soccer training comes around the corner quick, but try to enjoy your summers. And yeah, we'll see you back on the court in the winter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Girls.
All right, not a problem. Hailey Monroe and Lily Klippel from Northville. And by the way, for those of you asking, no, that was not a green screen shot for Hailey Monroe. She really was in the locker room at Northville for the interview. Great girls, great program. I know a lot of people were excited for them, and we're excited for Coach Zulo especially. I know that one of my wife's brothers played for Coach Zulo back in the day, so I know he was coming out to a lot of games too. So definitely an exciting time for Northville with that girls program the way it is, and looking like they're going to come back fully loaded with pretty much the same squad that they had for this past season.
Yeah, and I didn't realize how small of a town it was. Like in terms, I'm sure I've been to Northville at some point driving through, but to have like to say a big class is like 40 coming through and this one's 26, like that's even more impressive to be able to do that and get to the finals. So
yeah,
it's amazing.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah. All right, so let's just jump into this past weekend for y'all. You were Elevate was part of the GymRat Live tournament that happened this past weekend, which was centered at Impact up in the Half Moon Clifton Park area. First things first, who set up the posing for this pick?
Nobody. Just the guy was like, "Hey, get in the line," and they actually did a pretty good job, like getting together. So they did it themselves.
So one thing I did notice, Emily Kent showed up and showed out in the first game on Saturday morning. She was actually named the novice clothing player of the game by GymRat. She even had a little interview done for social media and everything. Talk about her game and that first game real quick. What Emily was able to provide in that contest.
Yeah. So the first game, I think it took a little bit to get our footing. Like again, these are still as crazy as it is. You're this far. It feels like it's so far in the season. Like this is the first part of the. Like that was game 11 for us to play on the year. So we've had scrimmages and played other teams, but so she's trying to get her footing. Obviously, like being a player that's a bigger player. Some kids aren't used to playing with a post player and getting used to that. She's also getting really used to like sprinting the floor and rim running and doing things like that to be able to score. But her second half, I think she had 2 points at halftime and had 12 of her 14 in the second half. And just played really well. We shot the ball really well, which is a big part of obviously playing inside out. But she just took it to him. Like she was inside out. She had some really nice moves. She was running in transition. So she just keeps getting better. Like she's one that when she realizes how good she can really be, like she's going to take that really big jump. And she's one of the better players in that section that she's in. So she had a really good first game, and we had some other really good performances throughout the weekend, and had some really good games. Ran into an EYBL group, the Gems, who unfortunately had like a 6'6" front line. But again, like fun experience for the girls, and you're just trying to get better. Like we just keep saying, like you're just getting better. You're getting better. So you take every game, but the amount of talent that's in that building was insane this weekend. To have it in Albany, I think it's one of the best things that happens around here every year. As well as regular GymRat, but to have the kids that we had in the building was great.
Yeah, and what did you make all in all? Was there anyone else that stood out to you? Because you guys ended up playing, what was it, 4 total games on the weekend or 3?
Yeah,
They played 4 games. So you played 3 on Saturday, and then you played another on Sunday.
Yep.
All in all, what was your takeaway from both the way the team was able to develop over the weekend and
Yep.
being able to become a cohesive unit? And was there anyone in particular that kind of stood out to really start to take that next step forward for you?
Yeah, we shot the ball really well the first game. The games after that, it was more of like a grind out, like trying to get to the rim, and the other team was playing really good defense. But I mean, the kids that we have that always play pretty well, no matter, you kind of know what you're getting. Morgan Vienne always is gonna, like, it doesn't really matter if who she's playing or who she's guarding. She's gonna be all over the place on the floor, rebounding, knocking down like timely shots. I thought she had a really good weekend. I thought Alex Leonard had a really good shooting time for some of the games. The first game especially, she was shooting from 27, 28 feet. So she's getting really comfortable with that kind of shooting and getting to the rim and being aggressive. And then the kids that everyone kind of like knows, at least locally, I think that the Caleb Bedoin played really well. Like, she's just kind of a steady guard, and she slows things down for her team at Tamarack, and she kind of is the same kind of thing for us. She's kind of like the slow it down kind of presence, because we have Liana that's behind or plays next to her, that's the fast-paced guard, and then she's behind her and kind of makes the right decisions, makes the right reads and passes. So she had a really good weekend as well.
And then the interesting part that I know we had discussed behind the scenes was, GymRat Live. But one little thing, and this comes from you, Albany. It technically wasn't really a live period, I suppose, but it was called GymRat Live. This isn't me going after GymRat. This isn't that at all. It's just kind of an awkward timing for it for Mother's Day weekend, and it just happened to be like a weird dead week for whatever reason for the recruiting schedule.
Yeah, it's all scheduling and stuff like that. I mean, so it was live for, I guess, Division II and Division IIIs were able to come and see live. The rest of them, you're not even supposed to be evaluating those days. So like when you're shut down, meaning we don't want you streaming games either and watching. So, but again, like, all those games are able to be saved and sent out. Really good production, all the play-by-play for all the games, and keeping track of the scores. But the team that won, Team Durant, like, I don't know if there's a better team than them. I don't know where they are. So, and the guards that they have, like, we're going to see Giselle Banks, who's like the number 6 player she's on the 17U team as a 9th grader. She's a 2027, whether she's a reclass or whatever she is. But, like, man, she is one of the quickest guards I've ever seen, like, in terms of stealing the ball. But I think her most recent offer that she picked up was a couple of the ACC schools. I know she picked up Louisville and a few other ones. So those are the caliber players. We had the number 2 player in the country, and then next year's class was here. The number 26 player in the country that's committed to UConn is on Team Thrill from Virginia. She was here. So it was just, we had a 6'9" center that was here on Team Curry. She's really raw, but again, she's 6'9", so she's just learning how to play. And she just picked up basketball a few years ago, but I think she's already an offer to Ole Miss. So being 6'9" and just taking up space and protecting the rim it's just crazy to see a 6'9" girl like in there. So it's awesome, but it's also all the girls like, holy cow, look how tall she is. So
that's pretty crazy, because I'm trying to think. Camila Cardozo, who just finished at South Carolina, is now with the Chicago Sky for the WNBA.
Yeah.
She was what, 6'6", 6'7"?
Yeah. So 2 inches taller than her.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Wow, I can't even wrap my head around that. That's
yeah, the girls were all like, she's 7 foot. I'm like, I think she's 6'9"ish, but whatever. Like, if she shoes on, maybe 6'10", but you could tell that she's like just learning the game and kind of how to play. But like, if she gets any kind of skill set like that kind of stuff to be 6'9" center, and I mean, what do you have to do? Like, you protect the rim and rebound, and we're good. So,
I mean, she would even make a lot of the boys at the AAU level look small. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Wow. One quick thing. Obviously, you guys are now quick turnaround, because now I know Elevate and Havoc. I'm not sure about Capitals. I think they are.
Yeah.
You all go.
Alabama, they're headed to.
Okay. But I know your program and Havoc. You're all going down to Atlantic City this coming weekend for the Atlantic City Showdown. It's a tournament I know very well. Talk about how you feel about the squad and coming out of GymRat and having the quick turnaround to have to go down to Atlantic City this weekend.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. Like it's a good preparation to play really good 4 good teams that we played the weekend before. That's always a really good tournament because usually the sneaker circuits are all on break, so like their session 2s don't happen right away. The Nike teams have to go to Alabama for their next grouping, so that's where the Capitals are headed to Alabama for their EYCL. They're in like the second tier group of EYBL. And then obviously Havoc will be there. I think Athena's, or not Athena's, but Team Vibes and Cap City and those guys will all be here as well. So it'll be fun. Like there's a lot of good players down there. You have a lot of good teams because Under Armour teams are able to play wherever they want right now, and Adidas teams are able to play wherever they want, and some of the top independent teams. So it's kind of like a melting pot for all the teams. And as much as Atlantic City is just, I don't know. I don't love it. Like it's not nice there, and no one really looks forward to it. But it's a really nice venue when you get there. So maybe the parents do, but I know I don't.
I remember specifically, there's one school that I can't remember if it's like a middle school or what. No air conditioning in that gym. It was a scorcher in that gym. So. Let's just say there were a lot of doors open and a couple of fans going in that gym. So, from a basketball standpoint, it can be difficult a little bit. But like you said, it's kind of like a mini vacation for the parents. So they'll suck it up to sit in a hot gym for an hour and a half. Between times at the beach or sitting next to the hotel pool, whatever it may be.
Exactly.
I think that does it for this episode. Unless you have anything else to bring up, I've got nothing. I'm good.
No, trying to get. I think at some point we'll get some new coaches on and stuff. There's going to be a lot of, obviously there's movement that's going on within Section 2 with coaching and things like that for new coaches at different schools and people getting scheduled. Like I think I'm trying to get scheduling now done. So like schedules are now out for the most part in the different leagues. Now it's about fitting the non-conference schedules and trying to figure out who to play. I'm trying to get a rematch with Notre Dame Bishop again, like Notre Dame Bishop out in Utica. So we'll see if I can make that work and have a rematch of the state final somewhere. So we have a few suburban council teams that have already committed to play us next year for academy, and going to work on some nicest teams down towards like a Long Island team and things like that. So try to copy our boys a little bit and play some of the teams that they may play and travel with them and put a good schedule together. So
speaking of Utica Notre Dame, I wasn't even going to bring this up, but you mentioned this school. Ella Trinkus this week recorded 500th career strikeout as a pitcher for the softball team.
Crazy.
Pick a sport to dominate. Don't do both. Come on.
They're like the Wood Sisters of Utica. That's like the best, if anyone's watching or anyone's listening, that's what they are. The Wood Sisters of Averill Park in Utica.
It's crazy, but again, all props to them. They did a hell of a job. I remember seeing them during Christmas break at the Amsterdam showcase beforehand. So
yep.
They had all the promise, and I love you guys, but it happens. I don't know what to tell you, man. That's crazy. But that all being said, you mentioned coaching appointments. I did learn about one yesterday, but I can't go public about it yet because the school hasn't gone public about it yet. So I got to pump the brakes on that. But I'm excited for the coaching appointment I heard about yesterday. So I'm happy for that person. As far as the next 2 episodes, I can officially announce we are locked in for our guests' next 2 shows. Episode 9, the one and only personal trainer / academy girls assistant coach Jackie Oscam will be joining us. And then for episode 10, we will be doing it's a lot of basketball, but also it's to help bring awareness, epilepsy awareness. Easy for me to say. We'll have Micaiah McCann from Bethlehem High, as well as Caleb Bedoin from Tamarack, who also plays for Elevate with Brian Cap. So those are the next 2 episodes, and we're locked and loaded. We'll be ready to go. Like I mentioned, we'll try to get coaches on. I know I have one AD chomping on the bit to come on themselves, so we're moving right along. So and that in that case, Cap, you go take your little one to soccer. Enjoy the 8-degree weather tonight while you're watching like a 10U soccer game you're going to?
10U soccer. I got to worry. I just had to check to see if we're wearing black or blue socks. That's the biggest issue tonight so far. So
for the players or for the parents?
No, for the player. No, I don't have to.
I was about to say that's wild that the parents get organized.
The black or blue socks and if they're clean, I think I washed them. So if not,
who's bringing the orange slices for the team?
I don't know. Not us. I don't think we have oranges. So.
Oh, well, okay, there you go.
Fruit roll-ups, maybe.
Yeah, gotta get that sugar intake, man.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so that wraps up episode 8. Again, thanks to Lily Klippel and Hailey Monroe from Northville. And until then, arrivederci, folks.
See you guys.